There you go.
I know.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm sorry. Talking to you have to teach.
Like, it's actually not together.
Want to call the order to pledge allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the executive sessions,
General health.
for public comment, I just want to give some of an update. Over the weekend, I was on numerous calls with Congressman Muser. We're still working on getting information. I talked to Senator McCormick's district leader, Nathan Grace, this morning. They're working on trying to set up some meetings. I know nobody wants to do this, but there's a partial shutdown of government. And so I don't know how that affecting this process. It's taking a little longer. So, Schuylkill County, I have for, if anybody wants to see it, I have the letters we gave to Congressman Muser's office, Governor Shapiro's office, all the senators and the congressmen on the capacities of the wastewater and sewer plant. I have that we provided for them. I also sent an official letter from the county, asking for information and setting timelines for meetings and dates, which I can share with the public. That I'm not gonna read. I could read the whole thing, but it's like 3 pages long. So I get to share it with Josh and everybody. And that's pretty much where we're at right now with it. We're still trying to gather the information. Congressman's working on it. I know the senators are working on it. Governor's office is working on it. So that's where we're at with it right now. You know, surely you should take this opportunity, since the governor's focused on the West End, to bring up NSP and all the stuff if he comes here.
Nobody listens.
Well, he's coming here. So if he comes here, we can take him up and let him smell it himself.
That's what you do.
So let's move on with the meeting. Public comment.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning, sir.
Stephen Moyer from Mechanicsville. In your correspondence to Congressman Musford,
User.
what was your official, are you for the ice center? Or are you against the ice center?
The county is not making, I am not making any statements for or against.
Why not?
My concerns are the impact on our county.
Well, why aren't you making a statement against
Because
it?
I don't have I don't have the information on the facility. We don't have anything.
Well,
I'm not getting into the political debate on.
it's not a political debate, Commissioner. It's what you three feel about us against that center. You guys should have a stand. The Berks County Commissioners came out with a letter the other day against their freaking ice center. So
Not that I know of.
Oh,
I'm not aware of that at all.
oh, I'm aware of that.
They came out with a letter against it.
Against it. And also, I have a letter here from Senator Richter in Mississippi, who didn't wait for the deeds. He wrote a letter to DHS and said, you will not put none in our state. And they're not putting none in the state. And here we are, you're telling me you're not gonna take a stand? I mean, we voted for you, Commissioner
We are
Fedora.
taking a stand. But it's not what you want us to make a comment on the larger, broader policy of immigration of the country. And that is above the commissioner.
No, I'm not asking you
Yes,
that.
you are.
I'm asking you, are you okay with them putting a center up there and that you're gonna have to pass more taxes to us? And the Pine Grove
Okay.
people are gonna have to pay more in school district?
Well, okay, so I wasn't gonna read this letter in its entirety because I have long of this, but when you're done your public comment, I'm going to. I addressed all those concerns in this.
Well, I think it's very poor, that we elected politicians that will not stand up either way. I can care either way, but I wanna know. I mean, because what's gonna happen then, when it comes back to you're gonna have to raise our taxes, well, I had nothing to do with
First
it.
of all, why would we have to raise your taxes?
What?
Why would we have to raise your taxes?
Because you're gonna get 225,000 less.
Okay, so there's other factors involved in this that will mitigate that tax loss.
No,
Yes, it will.
no.
Yes, it will. There's a warehouse up there right now that has not been picked up on the tax rolls. So yes, we are going to see an impact.
They've been
for
paying
this one
taxes on it.
they've been paying the taxes on that warehouse.
They have been paying.
Yes, but we have another warehouse, the second Amazon expansion, hasn't had its occupancy permit yet. When that gets its occupancy permit, that'll be picked up on their tax rolls. Now, it'd be better to have both, but this will help offset the cost of this.
Okay. You know, I feel that if they put illegals in that building will never be sold. And why would you not have an opinion? Because that's in a Keystone opportunity zone where we want to get manufacturers in here. And who's gonna want to be near a detention center? I would, what?
Your time is coming up, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can finish your statement.
So you didn't meet with Senator Musser yet?
He hasn't been to our area yet, but I've been in numerous phone call conversations with him. And honestly, he is the only one that we've been in conversations with directly, is Congressman Musers. Everybody else, we're working through Drew Poppich, we're working through Sabrina, we're working through Nathan Drake's. You know, we're working directly with Congressman Musers, regional director, but Congressman Muser is on the phone. He was on the phone with me over the weekend, talking about this facility on a Saturday.
Well, I'm gonna stop at his office when I'm done meals, to ask him what his position is on this ICE center. And I'm very heartbroken, Commissioner Fedora, that you don't have a stand for the people that elected you.
Again, I made a statement before,
I
from the
heard that.
beginning of this, that I was against the building up there, of that facility coming into that building, especially of the area. I wanna make that clear. I've said it time and time again. That's me personally, that I'm totally against that building coming into this county. It's not good for the county. I'm not gonna sit here and someone saying that I'm okay with this thing.
Well, that's why I
am not
just
okay
asked.
with it.
Okay, good.
I'm not okay with it.
My last thing is this, with our federal government, if they can't build the infrastructure for, the storage, and they can't build the infrastructure for the water, you can look for a lot of porta johns up there, and you can look for them trucking water in every day. And, you know, we're gonna have to put up with all that traffic.
That's what the commissioner is asking in his letter.
Yeah, so
On all that.
Yeah,
before I
done.
rest of public comment, we have never sent an official letter. So
I
we
mean-
sent an official letter to the congressman, to the state senators, and to the Department of Homeland Security. Formal notice, federal mitigation requirement prior to full operational expansion of the Tremont Heights facility. Dear Congressman Muser, Senator McCormick, Senator Fetterman, and federal officials. As chairman of the Schuylkill County Board of Commissioners, I am formally placing the federal government on notice that the operation and planned scaling of the ICE detention and processing facility in Tremont Township, Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, designed to house 7,500 detainees, creates a significant fiscal, infrastructure, public safety, and judicial impacts, and require mitigation prior to sustained full capacity operation. Schuylkill County does not take a position on federal mitigation policy. However, we have a statutory and fiduciary obligation to protect our taxpayers, emergency responders, and municipal systems from unfunded federal mandates. The facility, comprising of approximately 1.3 million square feet on 173 acres, was removed from the local tax rolls upon federal acquisition, eliminating approximately 1 million annually in combined real estate tax revenue to the county, townships, and school district. At full capacity, the facility functions as a municipality larger than many other communities within the county, without a tax base, without independent emergency services, without judicial infrastructure. The county cannot absorb this scale of impact without structural federal support. Schuylkill County formally asserts that the expansion toward full operational capacity must be contingent upon enforceable written agreement establishing the impacts outlined herein. At a minimum, a binding intergovernmental service agreement must be executed establishing a per detained day public safety surcharge significant to cover, sufficient to cover emergency communications, EMS, fire services, law enforcement, courts infrastructure, impacts, and local health delivery impacts. Payments in lieu of taxes must be structured to restore revenue, partly beginning in 2026, 2027, in recognition of the removal of $120 million in assessed value of the local tax base. The concentration of 7,500 detainees and associated federal staff creates structural strain on the county's P25 radio system, volunteer EMS agencies, fire service, and court operations. Federal funding must be committed for radio system capacity expansion attributed to facility demands, including additional counter capacity, infrastructure enhancement, lifestyle impacts, installation, testing, and certification of compliant public safety distribution antenna system or bidirectional amplifier, ensuring uninterrupted radio operation inside the facility must occur prior to full occupancy. The county will not assume liability for communication failures inside the federally owned structures. Based on national detention utilization, an average of 1.5 to 3 EMS response per 100 detainees per week, a facility operating at 7,500 detainees could generate between approximately 5,850 to 11,700 EMS response calls annually. Even at the low end of the range, the call volume is consistent with that of a small city. The county's volunteer-based emergency service system is not structured to absorb sustained urban scale demand without dedicated funding, and federally funded dedicated advanced life support unit assigned to the facility must be operational prior to sustained occupancy levels exceeding baseline capacity. The Tremont facility also presents substantial water supply and wastewater treatment demands. A detention facility of this size, operating continuously, will consume and discharge volumes comparable to a smaller municipality. No expansion of operational capacity should occur without written certification from the appropriate municipal authorities that adequate water and wastewater capacities exist. If system upgrades, modifications are required to accommodate federal occupancies, the capital and operational costs must be fully federally funded. The county will not assume environmental liability, exposure, or rate paid impact created by the federal operation. Schuylkill County further assists that that routine transportation to and from the Tremont facility should be limited to Interstate 81, State Route 309 Tremont interchange, with assurances in regard be included to the request an intergovernmental service agreement. Any travel to the facility on Route 309 through Tremont Borough should be limited to emergency only. To the extent that the federal authorities anticipate use of the Schuylkill County Airport for any transportation needs, we'd like to discuss the extent of that use and request mitigation of the resulting impact on our county airport. State level criminal offenses occurring within the facility fall under the county jurisdiction, increasing caseloads of the Schuylkill County District Attorney, clerk of courts, court security, and interpretive services. A judicial and prosecutorial reimbursement framework must be established, including participation in the state criminal alien assistance program and funding support for county level caseload increase. Schuylkill County formally requests an initial coordination meeting within 30 days of receipt of this letter. Delivery of a draft mitigation framework within 60 days, and execution of a binding agreement prior to substantial occupancy exceeding agreed upon baseline thresholds. Operation scaling without structural mitigation is not acceptable. Absent timely federal engagement and enforceable commitments, the county will acquire and evaluate all legal, regulatory, and administrative remedies necessary to protect local taxpayers, emergency services, capacities, and infrastructure integrity. This position is not political. It is a governance responsibility. We remain willing to work collaborating in good faith with DHS and ICE as our congressional delegation to establish responsible, sustainable framework. We look forward to your prompt response. This was sent out to them all. So we're hoping, they have an official letter now stating the facts. So we're hoping that it goes somewhere.
I want to put a copy of this one letter that took Mississippi.
Okay.
They get none into the county,
Okay.
record. And actually,
To
Commissioner,
answer your question, sir, am I happy about it? No.
but did you vote against it?
Pardon?
Did you say
We have
you're?
no vote to vote.
Oh, yes, you do.
We
The
know.
What?
Berks County Commissioners, and you please have somebody check that out today. They came out against it.
Hey, but that's not a vote.
It is a vote, because I gotta know what you are gonna do for
I
us.
don't want solar farms.
Right here, I'm doing it.
I don't want.
Yeah, but you listed in there, Commissioner Fedora, that you don't take a political stance either way on it. You know, and let me just say this and I'm done. I don't know if I'll come back up here or not. 35 years in the military, and I gotta listen to county commissioners that won't take a stand? That's not what you were elected for.
We're elected to represent the people of Schuylkill.
Okay.
We cannot stop the federal government.
I didn't say
Whether you
you,
believe it or not.
oh, I
no matter
do
what we
believe
do,
it.
We can't stop.
Once the deed was cut, that's allowable. The federal government is the only one that can go into an industrial area under the cows and take over the building. I know that. I know that now. I wish I would have knew it on 9 December, because then I would have been raised more heck, but I am totally brokenhearted.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hi, I'm Brianna Del Val from Orwigsburg. Last week, we heard that there will be an economic impact study. Who is undertaking that study?
I believe the federal government. We did a study, I have that here too. We had our EMS and 911 come up with information on what the local services are, what hospitals, with everything. And we sent that to our congressional delegation in Washington too, that information which I have here too. And we sent the capacities of sewage treatment plant water facilities, which are zero. Publicly known as zero. So we had John Blickley from Emergency Management Services, and with Scott Prater, we did a 911 impact and fire services, police services, hospitals, and the surrounding areas. And we were trying to get information like from the state or federal prison on how they handle their transportation, what they do, because I guess it would be comparable. So we're trying to get all that information, and that was sent to Washington.
I'm wondering if you'll consider having like an independent economic impact study. Yesterday, New Hampshire received like a typo. I have a copy, I can give it to you. Just an economic impact study from DHS that was referencing sales tax that they don't have, and reference to Oklahoma. So there clearly wasn't like a lot of attention to detail there, which worries me as a taxpayer here. So I brought some gifts for you. They're like actual like peer-reviewed studies on the local impacts of prisons, just to start thinking about these things, even if we can't, commission our own study. It's additional things we need to think about. I know yesterday Congressman Muser said that, there will be jobs that pay $100,000. Well, I think there may be a few, judging by like Moshannon Valley, we're not going to have, not all the jobs are going to be that. There's probably going to be maybe 100 jobs that are ICE jobs, and the rest are probably going to be private contractor jobs. We don't have a lot of information, but that's based on Moshannon Valley's kind of split. If the like median pay is $100,000, that makes me really worried about this facility pulling workers away from our prisons, and whether that's going to have like negative impacts on them and safety in them as
That's
well.
one of the things we're addressing too. Is
Yeah.
what would be the impact to prisons, the police forces, like where they source these people from?
Yeah.
So that's one of our questions.
Yeah, and so I hope you'll enjoy the reading. I only made one copy of the studies because there's a lot of paper.
I know.
It's expensive, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I just have a question. A friend that had been at last week's meeting had said that somebody was, Sandra Schwartz, Sandra Schwartz on Wayne Township. Okay, that somebody had supposedly submitted a resolution to you folks. And if they have, could you please read that aloud? It was like supposedly only a couple of sentences or something, some kind of resolution to
He said they were gonna
address all
get
this.
us a resolution, nobody presented us one that I ordered last week.
Okay, all right, I
Yeah.
just had, heard that second time about that.
I don't think so. I
Okay,
don't think they presented us. They said they were gonna get a resolution. It was the attorney. I think it was Cheryl. I think she's the one that sent out a resolution, but I don't think she gave it to us.
okay, all right. Also, is there a way to get a copy of your letter?
I'm going to give it to the meeting. It'll be in,
Where will we have access to it?
well, you can have, it's gonna be on, well, Josh will probably publish it.
Okay.
So he'll publish the letter.
Okay.
And you can have it, but I gotta make copies.
Okay.
I didn't, like, this is the only copy I have right now.
All right.
As soon as I get copies, I'll give it to you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a small public comment for that gentleman who left.
Yeah.
Sharon Yakachek from the township. Berks County did almost similar that you did. It did not say we
Yeah.
are against it. I just spoke with the controller who was very involved down there. And it was the same letter that you pretty much just read to us. That's what they did.
So there wasn't a vote, right, Sharon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, let's not.
This information once again.
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. I'll come up to the podium.
Yeah, I know, she's special for you. She gets special for you. You can sit there, we'll hand you the mic.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. I should just get one back there. So I didn't play the music coming in like you wanted me to. Okay. Start out again, Miss Gaffney with her FMLA claim. She's been here multiple times. Miss Stevens with her paperwork with the AG. Both Miss Gaffney and Opaque were here several times and refused to answer taxpayer questions regarding this. So I'll just keep putting it on the record that they're thumbing their nose at the public. 6 elected officials at 9:20 were MIA this morning, all making about $100,000 a year salary and benefits package. They continue to thumb their nose at the taxpayers as well. I see with some of the appointments in the agenda today, nepotism is alive and well in the courthouse again. It's good to see that. So we're still waiting on these answers for the ICE detention center. I just find it odd that we can't get any answers. That, Mr. Muser's, down at Mar-a-Lago, he's having dinner with Trump and he's hobnobbing with Jim Jordan's coming in for a $250 a plate dinner, but he has no pull to get any of these answers. Had no idea that this was coming. And we can't get an answer to simple questions. It's mind blowing that that's happening. Then you have Miss Stair out there stating this place is going to be operational within a few months. In spring, she said. She's quoted. So she must have some information. If this building is going to be operational in spring, I don't know how the hell they're going to do it with no water or sewer there, but she apparently knows something. She also went on to state that the majority of her constituents, 3/4, are in favor of it. I didn't see any polling done. I didn't see any questionnaires. I don't know if some of the residents out there, maybe, did you guys get any phone calls or anything? I haven't heard anything. I just mind blown that she says that. In the same interview, she states that her poor community, she keeps referring to as her poor community. Yeah, with horrible representation like that, it's going to be a poor community. It's also one that gets dumped on with the biosolids, and the majority of those biosolids that get dumped there are conveniently one of her former intimate relationship partners and a big donor to her campaign, who also donates to some of the people sitting up there at the front table. So she goes on to state, did we want an ICE facility? Probably not. She's quoted as saying that, but then claims 3/4 of constituents want it. So make up my mind. Do they want it or don't they want it? She keeps calling it the poor community. Well, then she needs to do better representation. It's absolutely pitiful. And I hope people are following the money for this to see where everything's going, who's going to do all the work on it, and whose pockets get lined, because it's a shame. And I wish you guys would come out more vocal, like Mr. Moyer said, and just oppose it, if that's the way it is. I mean, if you're not getting answers, then you should come out and say, we're opposing it because we're not getting these answers.
Set a timeline in there, so.
I know, but it's kicking the can down the road, and if she says it's gonna be operational by spring, this place could be open next month.
There's no confirmed information. I've seen that it's gonna be open this week. So. Any other public comment?
Are you gonna be planning a town hall meeting in the evening so more people can voice their concerns about this potential ice facility?
But we have a night meeting coming up in March. I think it's in March, yeah, it's before years, so it's in March.
But that's like the end of March.
No, I think it's in the beginning of March. What?
It's the second.
Second week of March.
Wednesday night, 6 p.m.
Does anybody else have any other public comment? Shirley? Just check it. Okay, let's move on to the meeting. Children, youth?
Good morning, Holly Zworsky for Children and Youth. We have one item today. We're requesting approval of an agreement with Wesley Family Services, Pittsburgh, PA for foster care services with per diem rates as follows: Class AA at $114.76, Class BB at $106.92, Class CC at $109.42, and Class DD at $128.93 for the term July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
Drug and alcohol?
John Reed, Drug and Alcohol. We're requesting approval of two fiscal year 25-26 contract addendums. The first one being with Pennsylvania Counseling Services Incorporated for prevention services to increase the contract cap from $332,095 to $335,677. The second one is with Pyramid Healthcare Incorporated to increase the contract cap from $1,284,626 to $1,298,626. Thank you.
Election Bureau?
Morning,
Morning, Commissioners. Election Bureau, Al Grecoski, Election Bureau. We're asking for approval to pay the election systems and software company, the ones that supplies our election machines, ES&S, for an annual post warranty and maintenance and support fees for the following years. 2026 will be $121,512. 2027 will be $126,318. 2028 would be $131,353, and 2029 would be $136,469. A grand total of $515,652 to keep the maintenance and support and firmware with our machines. The maintenance line item has been anticipated in the 2026 budget. This provides biannual on-site maintenance by ES&S for our election machines. Thank you.
Grant writers?
Good morning, Chairman.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cheryl Puss on behalf of Grant Writers, requesting approval of a revision to the 2021 CDBG program, moving $2,114.16 from the Minersville Housing Rehab line item to the demolition line item. Next, approval of a revision to the 2024 ESG program, moving $3,701 in HMIS funds to administration. Approval of an amendment to the 2024 ESG cooperation agreement with Servants to All, increasing the agreement $130,071 for additional funding received. And finally, approval to advertise for a demolition project in the city of Potsdam. Thank you.
Tax claim? Tax claim?
I'm tax assessment.
Tax claim? Tax claim?
Okay, that item is asking approval of the listed 3 repository sales pursuant to 72 PS 5860.625.
Treasurer's office.
Morning, Linda.
Morning, Commissioners. Seeking approval of the Treasurer's report for the month of January 2026, ending balance in all accounts
$773,486.03. And then I'm also looking for approval of the 2025 real estate and per capita tax percentages report that's attached to the agenda. And lastly, the appointment of the deputy tax collectors as selected by our tax collectors. There is a vacancy in Ashland Borough. So currently we are looking for Borough Council to appoint somebody there. And 3 tax collectors have still not submitted their deputy tax collector information to date. So we'll get that as soon as I receive it in the treasurer's office.
Solicitor's office?
Good morning, Commissioners. We're seeking approval of 2 items. First, approval to ratify and appoint members to the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Schuylkill and establish their respective terms as follows. Joseph Polabensky for a term to expire December 31, 2026. Gary Bender for a term to expire December 31, 2027. Clyde Holman for a term to expire December 31, 2028. Vince White-Chunas for a term to expire December 31, 2029. And Frank Zukas for a term to expire December 31, 2030. This is premised in part on research we did to determine existing terms.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be muted.
Is that a no then? Is that what that is?
That's the explanation of the answer sent.
It's general feedback.
No, just to get back, after we did research with the chief clerk's office, it could not be determined that staggered terms were originally established for the redevelopment authority. And certain of these appointments have just gone on for years. So we're looking for the opportunity now to establish the terms on a staggered basis. They would be renewed then on 5-year terms after these terms expire. I would also tell the commissioners that these appointees would also comply, and the board would comply with the land bank requirements based on the ordinance we adopted a few months ago establishing the County Redevelopment Authority as the land bank for Schuylkill County. The second item we have is approval of an addendum to County Coal Lease number 6C7 with the lessee Premier Fine Coal Inc. to revise the description of the leased premises to exclude the area comprising the current Mary D. Water Association water line and provide the lessee with the option to add that area back into the lease if the water line is no longer in service. This is premised in part on the fact that that water line is in litigation right now, and the county leased the entire parcel, including the water line, to Premium Fine Coal. So we want to exclude the water line from the lease, and it would stay excluded from the lease for so long as that water line would remain in service.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Finance office.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have a number of items from last year, prior adjustments, 2 for drug and alcohol, 1 for public works, 1 for engineering and real estate, 2 for the children and youth. On this year's adjustment, we are looking at, for informational purposes only, adjustment in the tax assessment. That was for an item that was, that item of course was budgeted. We're just simply moving it because the contract is being executed. And then an adult probation, that item is to properly reflect that those wages are coming from a grant and not from county funds. On behalf of drug and alcohol, we're looking for the approval immediately on 3 prior year supplemental budget appropriation resolutions that are before you. One in the first was $18,834, 1 for $10,951, and 1 for $2,128.
I have a motion for resolution 2025-32, 2025-33, 2025-34.
So move, sir.
Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The next item is on behalf of the Promontory. We have an adjustment for 2026. This is 2026-03. Again, immediate approval is requested in the amount of $86,250. This is to recognize increased revenues that will be coming.
I have a motion for 2026-03.
So move, sir.
Second.
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
And then the last item is on behalf of the grant writers, item 2026-04, supplemental budget appropriation resolution in the amount of $390,202.
I have a motion for 2026-04.
So moved, sir.
On the question? Sorry, second. On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
County administration.
Yes, on behalf of the Schuylkill Parks and Recreation, Aaron Clauser, the engineering firm of Aaron Clauser, is seeking approval to submit a DCNR Community Recreation and Conservation Planning Grant for funding to construct a playground adjacent to the Waterfront Pavilion at Sweet Arrow Lake County Park. In addition to paying for Aaron Clauser's firm, professional expenses to prepare the grant application, Friends of Schuylkill Parks and Recreation will also provide funds needed to reach the required 50% match. The grant if it is funded. The Friends Group anticipates the project costing approximately $160,000 to $200,000. Next, on behalf of Emergency Management, approval to the federal fiscal year 2026 Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant Agreement in the amount of $5,196. This grant will be utilized to provide training for emergency responders in hazardous materials and emerging alternate fuel response. And he is asking for a motion at this time.
Have a motion for that?
Motion to approve the EMA, request.
Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Human resources.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. In the prison, we have the promotion of Joseph Corrali, Lieutenant, the rate is 82,400, effective 2/23/26, coming from the full-time correction officer. Also in the prison, the transfer of Anthony Marr and Randy Spackler II to correction officers full-time. The rate for both is 26.4555. The effective date is 2/23/26, both coming from part-time positions. In the election bureau, the appointment of Sean Crane as election technology coordinator. The rate is 19.1511 for the contract effective 2/23/26. And there are two informational items, both in the district justice office, the appointments of Ashley Ireland and Carrie Sunday as district justice assistant 1. Ireland's appointment date is 3/16/26. Sunday's appointment date is 4/13/26. Rate is for the contract. All appointments pending drug test and physical were appropriate, and all actions involving salary or for positions being created are pending salary board approval.
I have a motion for the Free Prison Board and Election Bureau.
So moved, sir.
Second?
On the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Any new business for the? Motion adjourned.
So moved, sir.
Salary Board, report of any executive sessions,
None are held.
public comment for Salary Board. Human Resource Office,
We have one item in the prison, set the salary for Joseph Corrali as a lieutenant, 82,400, effective 2/23/26.
have a motion for Salary Board,
So moved, sir.
Second?
the question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Controller Thompson.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved, sir.